This week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed. That's get-blitz.com. Get Blitz Let's Aid is nano-infused THC syrup, and it is a premium cannabis-infused syrup formulated with nanotechnology for fast-acting effects. And you can get 15% off your order when you head to get-blitz.com and use promo code RVD. Get 15% off. Head to get-blitz.com, promo code RVD, 15% off. It's one of a kind, baby.
Feel me? I hope you do.
Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam!
I'm Rob Van Dam. The whole show.
Hey, can you see me? All right. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of the Dirt Sheets. I roam on the Dirt Sheets, and it's a Monday when we got a new Monday Night Wars, and it is with W. Raw and this guy over here. It is with, what's your name again? I can't see him.
Man, you can see me?
What? Dang it. Who is this? It's Rob Van Dam. Rob, how are you, man? Happy Monday.
Happy Merry Monday, dude. Strange time for us, but it's not something we haven't done before.
No, no.
Yeah,
We do
Mr.
a lot on
Monday.
Monday. What is there? There's no trash on Monday. Is there recycling on Monday? What's the,
Oh, no. That'd be fucked up if you want me to remember the difference
that'd
between.
be really fucked up. But hey, we're live here on rvdtv.com, on RVD's YouTube channel, and on RVD's X account as well. So if you guys have questions or anything, feel free to ask them. Super chat always helps and get you to the front of the line. But we got,
Capital of Canada.
what was that?
Wait, are the questions for me too or no?
Oh, they're for you. They're for you.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's the capital of Canada?
Oh, what is the capital of Canada? Do you know it? I don't. I honestly don't. Montreal? I think it's Montreal. Quebec? No, Quebec's the country or the.
You're more Canadian than I am.
Hey, I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close to it. I haven't been to Canada in like.
Vancouver? I don't know.
Oh, you might be.
Maybe, right? Maybe. I don't know.
It might be Vancouver. Now that I think about it, Ottawa. Kyle says Ottawa.
That's not. He's joking though, yeah.
I don't know.
Can't
Ottawa.
be. Can it?
I've never been to Ottawa. I don't like their hockey team though.
Saskatchewan, however you say that word.
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
That's where
Like
Brock Lesnar lives.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, he lives in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. Hey, that's easy. I got it now.
Yeah,
Hey,
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, like the back of my hand.
Like, like the back of my hand. Know what I'm saying? Well, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? See some Maddie's in the house. Cal Z's in the house. We got Jim the Don in here. And you're wearing Seth's t-shirt, too, I noticed.
Good
Rob,
job
so
noticing, dude. And hell yeah, thanks, Seth, for the fucking getting our vibes right.
Hell yeah. He's the, if you guys aren't aware, Seth is their theme song artist. So any interest,
Beach Dub Club.
check him out. He does other music too that you can check out. He's on Spotify, and I'll be sure to share the link to his stuff in the next in the clip when the description and stuff.
It's not Saskatoon. That's a total different town if there is such a thing.
Isn't there? Is that in Minnesota? I think it's
The
Minnesota.
boss. He tried to make it. Oh, is it? Okay. Because, he's singing a whole different town. I was like, no way. You simplified that. There's no way it's Saskatoon.
No,
way.
there is a Saskatoon, but I don't know if that's.
Okay. Well,
Hey,
then.
let's start off with this, Rob. This is a cool question. Kyle,
I think that's the Alto Nights. Yeah, that's a great question. I've been too busy. And then like once every 4 days, I remember that it's playing. I go, oh, that's right. I got to go see that. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And then, I might have to wait till it's on demand or something. I want to go see it. I wonder if anyone in the chat room has seen it. And
has anybody seen it, huh? Kyle Z. I bet
yeah.
Kyle Z did. He's the mafia enthusiast. So
yeah, surprisingly, but I rarely do make it out to the movie theater. I did really think that I was gonna go and see this one in the theater. Now, I mean, the way things move, it might be available at home like next week, for all I know, on one of the 1,000 platforms that I pay for and don't use. Um, there's so many, even DirecTV. Like I got this, I'm sure, I'm definitely paying way too much for my DirecTV. And besides that, I have the cable, and then all the different platforms you
Streaming stuff.
subscribe to. But with DirecTV alone, like I've had it for so many years, it'll be weird to cancel it probably, but like it seems like half of it is sports, and I watch zero of those channels.
Zero that.
I just don't. You skip all those channels, the ESPN 89, ESPN 90, whatever. But and once in a while it'll be like, oh, there's a movie on HBO, or it's rare. So I don't know. I know that a lot of people are used to just using the internet and subscribing and just getting what they want to watch. And I've always heard of those clever people, but man, it makes more sense now than ever, because I have so many, and I have networks I don't even know about. Like besides the DirecTV and besides the Cox cable, which is my internet provider, but I get the local channels, and then and besides the different platforms I've subscribed to, thinking I would cancel after I watched the Mafia series on it. Besides that, my TV alone seems to have its own network. I have no idea where those channels came from. I don't know if Samsung is a platform or whatever, but when all the other boxes are turned off, I have this huge list of channels that I've never one time ever watched, and they come on my TV without all the other stuff. I have no idea what that's even.
That's probably like they do those apps, I think, where it's like Tubi maybe and stuff like that. Like,
oh, I know what those are. Yeah,
Pluto. Like sometimes I think your TV is, since it's connected to the internet, it would be like boom, it like kind of hooks you up with some stuff that you can already watch. I do have an HD TV, but it doesn't have anything to that effect on there. But I know some of those are pretty capable of it. We'll go with this one here too. Shrooms in Metal. Rob, it was 6 seeing you at Battle. All right, wish you two had more time. He means you and Riddle. Felt like the crowd wanted to see you win. I did. Yeah. Talk about your experience there in LA and back in Los Angeles, and and making your debut in Major League Wrestling as well.
That's true. That was the first time. Wow, what a pop. What it was, hey, where's someone cut the top of my head off, dude?
Oh, there you go. You're back. Your whole body's there.
VBDC. Great reaction from the people. Came out to Cushionator's music, the one that we used in TNA, and the people loved it because they knew within the first what do you call that, a measure in a song, within the first few beats anyway, it was Rob Van Dam, and everyone was screaming. Great reaction all the way down. And then I came in at the end of the battle, ended up being me and Riddle. Thought he wanted to smoke an air doobie with me. Next thing I know, he's dumped my ass on the floor. But good experience. MLW was really cool. They're from my limited one-day experience, they were very professional, and I respect their hustle and admire their what's the right word here? Their plight. I don't know if that's the right word, but I appreciate what they're doing. And what
there's a lot of young, hungry talent there too, and a lot of names came out of MLW originally too, like MJF. That's where he got his start big time. Swerve got his start there. Jacob Fatu, he was really where it was big time where he got it from too. So. Yeah, so it's a pretty, and they have a hodgepodge of people that used to be like Bruce Pritchard got back into wrestling like through MLW. Same with Tony Schiavone. Like he did commentary there, and then AEW picked him up, and Then Bruce went back to WWE, obviously, but that kind of got the gears turning again for them. So
Interesting.
yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah. And they've been around forever, it seems like, huh?
Oh yeah, so they started 2002, like, and they were initially did shows in Florida. So like Terry Funk was a part of it, Sabu was a part of it, Dusty. So way back when, and then they had younger guys. Oh my God, who are some of the names? CM Punk was there for a little bit too, and
Okay.
Raven. But then they, go ahead.
They never had any affiliation like with Ring of Honor or anything, right? Or did they?
No. But they did harken back. They got Charlie, the camera guy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe I ran into
He was
him.
there too. That's awesome. He was there. Yeah.
I can feel my genuine smile come out thinking about him. Just because, I mean, dude, I've known that guy since '96. Come
How
on.
crazy is that too?
And I keep in touch with Ron, his partner. It was Ron and Charlie always.
Yeah.
And
But
it's always cool seeing. That's something, by the way, working with AEW and MLW. I'm not sure who else I guess even TNA and WWE, all of them. It's like the crew guys, besides the wrestlers, seeing those guys that are, you know, operating the cameras or setting up the audio or lights or whatever, but whatever they do, seeing some of those guys and just knowing like, wow, they've been a part of the industry, just like the wrestlers, and also a lot of them part of the family, you know, because some of the people, you know, you're really happy to see, and you know, there's genuine love, and that goes a long way, and it's really interesting to see some of them go getting work from one company to another because of their experience, you know, and it's like that's just cool, because I don't know, I don't think when you become a crew guy originally, or if that's what you seek to do when you're going through training, you might not be thinking maybe I would have a career in one particular field, but maybe you do think that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you could work for Universal Studios and just work there for 30 years. And that would be a job too. But anyway, that just makes me think of that. I remember that at AEW too. Like some of them I didn't even know by name. I just know their faces.
yeah, you're like, hey, I remember you.
Dude, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, no, but back in the early MLW days, they actually took a lot of the production value of what ECW was doing. Like they did like the, you know, when the static would come up and it would switch, and Joey Styles was their only commentator. So Joey Styles, yeah, he was like their original solo commentator. So he'd be calling the action in there.
Wow, what years was this?
So this was like 2002, like 2000.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. So
Joey went somewhere else. That's great.
Yeah, and like it was awesome. It very much felt like ECW. Like Mike Awesome was there too for a little bit. Steve Carino. Oh my God, there was another name that crossed my mind. Oh, Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn was there too. He was actually in their first world title match. He challenged for.
Cool.
Yeah.
I saw some familiar faces with the boys too, like Chris Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a good surprise. He was a good surprise too. And then their former champ Hammerstone returned too.
Yeah. Dude is jacked.
He's a good dude. I love Hammerstone. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a real fun guy. So
he got hurt recently, right? Was that the one that rolled his ankle jumping over the top rope? Like I remember seeing somebody do that, or maybe that's Buddy Murphy. I get those guys mixed up.
Oh, Buddy Murphy did get hurt. Yeah.
I don't know why, but in my head, sometimes I change those guys. Like if I see them at a show, I think I saw the other one, but I guess because I don't have a relationship with either one of them to really know them. So that's why, not that they look the same, but
yeah. Well, Hammer too, he did get injured and he was on the shelf for almost like 8 months or something. So he just kind of returned from it. So
what was his injury? Do you know?
Gosh, it was a leg injury. I know he had a leg injury because I know he couldn't recruit. He couldn't work out the certain ways that he wanted to, but he's back in the gym now.
Well, it looks like he's been working out.
Yeah, he's doing it. He does bodybuilding competitions and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Rob, I mean, obviously, besides you, he's the most person I've ever interviewed. I think in wrestling, I've interviewed him 6 different times or something.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, he's a good dude.
Oh, back on MLW, where you said they used to run shows out of Florida. Where's their base now?
So they're technically based out of New York. But so they'll when they're in New York City, they'll run the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, and then they run the ECW arena. Like during COVID, they had a residence almost in the ECW arena, and so they would do that there. So they go. They don't actually have like a home base, like technically. So, but they kind of travel around. They do Cicero Stadium in Chicago, and they do Dallas too. So. Yeah, they've been making the moves a little bit. It's kind of cool to see them.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hopefully this was one of their better moments in bigger shows. So, because it looks like they're on the grow. What I used to, what's the one from Baltimore? MCW.
MCW. That's with Danny McDevitt.
Okay, yeah. So that's something I've done over the years is hear one of them, and then my mind doesn't know which, I get it mixed up. But I've wrestled for MCW, a few times, so I don't really have that good of an excuse there, except for they sound the same to my head. But not anymore. Not anymore. Now I got them distinguished.
Well, it's pretty cool to add another one to your resume. We talked about that last week, how you said how important it was to kind of be well-traveled and get that notion of it all. And so, like, an MLW is such a name in the business now, too, that it's neat that you add that one also, that promotion also to what you've already done, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, so check this out. I'll let you go ahead and congratulate me afterwards.
Ooh.
Yeah, after, let's see, Katie and I have been together since April of 2016. So what was that, 9 years? Pretty much exactly 9 years, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. April 16th, is that?
Yeah.
So 2 days from now.
Well, April 2016 is what I said.
April 2016. Okay. So yeah, 2 years. I mean, 9 years anniversary.
Carry the 4. Anyway, she just learned to do this for me.
Really? Whoa. Yeah. How about that? What an anniversary present.
Thank you, everybody. It's a really special moment. I'd hand out cigars, but I gotta smoke them. So we have the tubes that have these filters in it. It's like a cigarette filter.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you can cut it in half if the filter's too much. I have seen that done. I've done it myself. But usually the tubes, like I have them because I have an injection machine, and I was trying to get that to work where the machine will make your own doobies, and it does work. It does work, but in the end, it was a lot of work anyway. But anyway, she found the tubes, and so she stuffs the weed in there for me and does it that way. And then twist it, and they end up being a little bigger than what I would normally. They call these dog walkers when they're like half-size doobies. This one, I guess I'll call a big dog walker.
Big dog. A Great Dane.
Maybe a lion walker. I mean, it's not quite a doobie, but it's probably 70%. So.
All right.
Big dog. We'll go with big dog walker. Who's got lions in this neighborhood? Although Joey Gallo had a lion. Do you know that?
Wait, who did?
He had a Joey Gallo from the Colombo crime family, but he had a Crazy Joey. Come on. He had a lion, and they kept it in the basement. And like when people like owed them money and were late on payments and shit like that, the Gallo brothers would like take him downstairs to threaten them and intimidate them.
Shit. Seriously?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dang, I did not know that.
Now you do. Yeah, the Gallo brothers.
Oh man. Oh, I've been meaning to ask this. We have a regular user on here. His name.
Anybody see the Alto Kings, and did they like it?
Yeah, I'm looking to see if anybody said it. I was thinking Kyle Z might have saw it, but I haven't seen him say anything yet. So let us know if you saw the Alto Kings, because we want to know about it. I know the reviews weren't that good, but we don't go by the reviews. I've seen bad reviews before and still like the movie. So
sure, yeah. No, I haven't rolled across joint, but I definitely have seen amazing, complete play sets rolled out of joints and stuff. Especially like that guy from Raw. If you follow him on Instagram, that dude makes crazy things. He's always inventing, like he invents something new every day. Like I don't know how he can come up with so many ideas, but the guy that owns Raw Papers,
Oh yeah.
yeah, actually, man, forever ago we've been holding on to a box that we wanted to open up on the air and forgot.
Oh shit.
Well, we already opened it, but we were going to show it. But just crazy. He's just always in, everything. He's just like, need something to ash in that's, convenient, handy. And then he will come up with a tiny mini ashtray that covers the whatever. It's just, he's always got one thing. He's got a Frisbee. He's got a Frisbee and it's got a little hole in it to put the doobie in so you can throw it and pass the doobie.
Boy, that's a Lenny Poffo move right there.
Right. Yeah. pass it on. But as far as someone asked if who asked that if I rolled a
that was Jem the Dawn.
Yeah, if I roll a cross joint. No, I'm not into that. I don't even like how long it takes me to roll doobie. I just want to smoke it.
Just smoke it on up. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, look at this. So Kyle Z said he did watch it and he liked it. He's not going to give any spoilers.
Appreciate that.
All right. So he liked it. Good.
Whenever I see, but I mean, I know the story. It says it's based on something that really happened, but I'm sure they took their liberties to make some changes, and most likely I won't like those. But I do understand how Hollywood works, how drama works, so I do have a bit of wiggle room for Hollywood to do that. Yeah. I just don't like that people think afterwards that that's how it really happened and that's fact. Like people get 100% of their history from one source and they're basic thinkers. So that's the way it happened. That's why everybody thinks Bugsy Siegel invented Las Vegas. And, it was already here when he got here, but because of the movie Bugsy that Warren Beatty did, the history's changed forever.
Man. Yeah. Well, usually too, when I watch a movie, like whether it's like,
Christopher Columbus, same thing,
right? Like when I watch a movie, though, it's like I'll be interested if it was based off a true story. I'll look more into it and be like, oh, that wasn't real. Okay, that didn't happen. So it like kind of intrigues me a little bit more to look into things. But yeah, some people just go by
and it's cool if you already know the story and then see how they decided to portray that piece of time and how they put that into an hour and a half or 2 hours to tell you the story.
Yeah.
Because it happens over months, if not years.
Mm-hmm.
As a lot of stories do. And you got to pick the right conversations, the right words to get the points of the conversations over and the right action to tell this story in under 2 hours when you really might be covering, January 1956 to December of 1957 and bam, and then you got to keep cutting it. There's always so much that doesn't make the final cut, but I love the process.
Yeah, it's pretty a fascinating thing. If I had a movie aspiration to be, I do have aspiration to be, but it would be I'd want to be in a mob movie. I definitely want to be in a mob movie. I think it's my number one choice.
I can see you with a fedora on for sure.
Right. I'd get whacked. I'd get fucking murdered for sure.
Yeah, you know why? Because you'd be running your mouth, dropping names and stuff.
Absolutely. I'd be like Mari and fucking.
You know who I'm with?
Yeah. Do you know who I'm with? Huh?
You don't talk to me like that, bro.
I'd be dead in a meat cooler. No doubt about it.
Speaking of, spark him if you got him.
Yeah.
Did I talk on this show about how I didn't used to ever smoke on camera until somewhat recently?
We've talked about it before, but talk about it again because.
I was just thinking about it because I did a podcast for Be Real from Cypress Hill, the Smoke Box or whatever his version is of that. I think that's what it's called, where you're in the car, and the windows are up and everyone's just smoking. And no one's gonna outsmoke me, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, that's it. Where's the next joint? Like, hey, slow down. We only got so many. No, they don't say that, but they don't smoke as aggressively as I do when I'm there. Hey, I'm here for the smoke. You guys said we get to smoke. Where's the smoke? But that was the first time that I smoked on camera, and it was a couple of reasons. Like one of the reasons, which was most important to me, was because as an advocate for cannabis, I find that my position in the battle, for lack of a better term, is more of speaking facts, statistics, common sense, and a lot of entertainers, their position in the fight to legalize or stand up for your freedoms or however you want to look at it, a lot of entertainers, well, their position is to rebel. So a lot of rock stars, whatever, would be fuck you, blowing smoke in the camera, and that'd be their way of saying, hey, marijuana should be legal. And for me, I always felt like I had different values to offer, because I could say, hey, marijuana should be legal. It was prohibited on complete lies, and here are the reasons it was prohibited, and here are the reasons that weren't true. Here's the refutes, the rebukes, the times that the evidence was buried, and so for me, I always felt like I had more of a cerebral position in the war against prohibition for marijuana. And anyway, because of that, I always thought that my credibility could be taken away, as it is, as of right now. Like when certain people, when they see me smoke, in their mind, they're going to be like, he's wasted. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But now in 2025, I mean, that's on them. If they're that basic thinking, and that's fine. I don't need smoking cannabis to be a bigger part of anybody's life than it is. I don't, whatever, to each his own. But for me, I didn't want, like, you probably don't even, Nancy Grace is still kind of hanging in there, but she was a protagonist, an antagonist back then, on the other side of the battle. And I could just picture me trying to name facts, like Harry Anslinger in 1937, prohibited marijuana with a racial agenda to drive and then I could picture Nancy Grace saying, look is that you smoking marijuana on YouTube? And you have children that look up to you, that are your fans? And I just didn't want to offer that easy discreditational move that would be, handing somebody the material. And I'm sure now, because I know, it takes all kinds. I'm sure there's a lot of people now that'll watch that and think the same thing. And sometimes I do read it in the comments where people say, well, I never take anything a stoner says too seriously. Like in their mind, it automatically, but that's a whole nother self-bias position to take when judging anybody. I'm better than you. Yeah, I can look down on you because of this, which, if you want to reverse that, you're basically saying that that I would be better if I was more like you and less like me.
Yeah.
Which to me makes me laugh. It's my choice to do anything. So I would choose not to do something if I thought it would make me better to be more like you, and it's not on my agenda. So anyway, there's that. And then the other thing is I didn't like the look of it. Like anytime I saw a picture of me smoking, I really thought like it was an ugly look, and it was something I wasn't proud of, like a very unflattering image. It took me a while, maybe doing some photo shoots of actually, that were cool, caught in black, white when they catch the smoke. And a couple times I was like, well, that's more cool or whatever. But before, it just looked dirty and gross to see myself on film, whether it was a moving picture or a still picture, either way. But now, like whenever I have to look at my face, I got to look at my face, and I don't, so it's like, either way, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Let's get past it. I'm not one of those metrosexual dudes that, would be like, do you like my eyebrows? Like if that's not me. I often say I could do without a mirror in my house because I don't enjoy watching myself anymore. I've seen enough. So I understand if anyone else has seen enough too. I'm with you, but But because of those reasons, it's like you might as well stick a damn joint in my mouth, whatever.
I know too. I know when we first started, we were like, is it bad to smoke on camera? And I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Yeah. Because we didn't know. We didn't know if it would screw up the algorithm or screw up whatever. But no, I think it's just part of the show, right? Just totally fine, I think.
I don't know. I think if I cared a lot more to really do everything we could, to try to make the show better, then definitely I would consider not smoking on it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But this is hard for some watchers to imagine, but it's not that important to me. Not important enough to me to where I want to put any more time into the show. And so this is my platform, my expression, and I know some of the other wrestlers are crushing it in numbers and stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm grateful for them. I'm celebrating with their success. They work really hard at it. They have several people in the studio. They do several takes. They edit. And post at it, putting everything together, and it works really hard. So anyway, I'm not willing to do any of that. So you're not helping me out by giving me the unwanted advice of saying, hey, watch what this guy does more, and you should do more like him. It's like that's great for him, and I hope he keeps doing better. And for me, hey, I like a good idea, but yeah, I'm not looking to work harder or put more into it. If there's a reason, there's a reason. And sometimes there's a reason, but this is not anywhere near the priority list of things that are important to me. But at the same time, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy communicating with the people that we do and using this platform as I do. With that said, I'm about to light up a Katie rolled doobie.
Heck yeah.
Marmaduke Walker.
Oh, I like Marmaduke. Yes.
Yeah.
That's an old school reference right there. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, good stuff, Rob. Yeah, no, I think that's what makes this podcast pretty unique and one of a kind is that we don't kind of go by a lot of that stuff. And, it would be nice to get more subscribers, and hopefully we're growing as a channel. So, maybe at some point it'll start picking up more and more momentum. But, I like what we talk about. I like that we don't necessarily always focus on wrestling and we go off the beaten path. And so there's a lot of fun stuff.
But I think that's something that is a good thing maybe to strive for. Like, I think it could be said about my career overall. I was never one to say, okay, I want to conform to be like that guy, whether it's an actual existing wrestler that's super over already, or whether it's a figment of the imagination of my understanding of what they want. Either way, for me, it's been more about I'm gonna be this guy, and if it's over, it's over, and if it's not, it's not. And then you can hold me accountable for not being over, for being myself, and then I'll take that accountability. But that ain't the way it works out.
No, it's not how it happens a lot. I know, like there's those other shows that they do, like they recap certain months and years or eras and stuff like that. And it's kind of fun to have a topic like that and dive deep into it. But I think, the fans ask enough questions on here that we can kind of riff on them, and they sometimes direct the show too. So it's a good balance of everything, I think, what we do on here.
It's all about balance, brother.
Absolutely. Speaking of balance, we got some super chats in the house. Yeah, this is so I don't know if you saw it, Rob, but I used the graphic of you and Jerry the King Lawler in your WWE 1997 Mr. Monday Night debut. He says, take us back to Mr. Monday Night and working with Lawler. Maddie asked, what do you remember about that experience first showing up there?
Okay, let's see. Let me put my mind back to 1997. Young 36-year-old RVD making headlines by being so in demand. The guy calls himself Mr. Monday Night. I mean, I knew Jerry since I wrestled in USWA way back in 1991, and had some experience with him. Uh, but he was an anti-ECW guy, so the competitive beast inside of me had to hold a position in my head that was, like, fuck him, he's the enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit, because he was dogging ECW, and in the way it felt to me, it didn't feel like it was just business. It felt I don't know if he did that in actual interviews, but I felt like he was like it felt like he was trying to bury. Hey, shut up. That he was trying to bury ECW and say that, extremely crappy wrestling. It didn't seem like it was just the work. It seemed like, first off, I think he and Paul had legit heat, because Paul had legit heat with everybody. So it was always a big deal when him or Cornette or someone actually showed up at the arena. And it was DB. Hey. And then it was always like a special moment when someone that hated Paul was there to put business ahead of everything else. So anyway, I like always, my ego told me that I didn't need somebody else out there with me to help get me over. So there was that too. You got to remember, you're in a competitive state of mind. I know fans don't believe that, and they think everyone out there is just having fun, and we just wrestle because we like it, not because it's a job. And thing is, I felt like I was there because I was over. The people knew who I was. That's what my ego was telling me, that I'm. Let me just be out here and show off, and then why do I got to be connected to him? And it didn't make as much sense to me. He's been dogging ECW, extremely crappy wrestling, but now he's bringing me in as an ECW wrestler because I was ECW in WWE, and then I was WWE in ECW, so I was an outsider in both places. So I'm not really sure how that made sense. I'm sure there's probably an answer, but I feel like there's a missing piece of the puzzle. Like, was I in between? Like I think I was in between. I think according to Jerry Lawler, RVD wasn't representing ECW. He was too good for ECW and was like in between, like an outsider. I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
But then explain this, Mr. Sherlock John Holmes. What? So why then bring Sandman and Dreamer and Sabu and all the other ECW guys if I'm not part of ECW?
Were they trying to it was invading. It was the first invasion. So maybe but you weren't clashing with those guys on the television. Were you part of their? You were part of.
They were part of my team, and Paul would come out there with us separately if we were separated on the card.
Yeah, that is weird, right?
Yeah, they kind of blended and mashed some of that stuff together to make it questionable anyway, if it did make sense. But looking back at it now, it was a job for me. It was a job for Jerry Lawler. Should have just high-fived him and said cool. But I really that was my feeling on it. Was I felt like, hey, I got a manager. It's Franzese, Where's my brother Sabu? Let me be myself. Boom, boom, boom. And then pretty soon, me and Jerry Lawler are tag teaming against the Headbangers. I'm like, what?
That is weird, right?
And then and I didn't get it. I mean, Jerry at the time, I don't think was a full-time wrestler. I think he was part-time commentator, maybe a full-time commentator, and was just wrestling a little for this angle. I don't really know, but it seemed like it wasn't the dream partner that I would pick if I was going to try to go for the tag team titles or something like that. You know what I mean? So in the meantime, I was feeling like they didn't know what to do with me. I didn't understand what they were doing with me. I thought I was there to get ECW over, and And in fact, I was there to give ECW a rub while I was supposed to be transferring from one company to the other, and didn't even realize it while I was doing it.
Yeah, that is crazy. It's such what a weird time in like wrestling that was, because like ECW was the underground popular hit, but then you're still crossing over with the WWE's, who's trying to get that kind of edgy credibility at that point too, because they were known as, you know, hey, Doink the Clown and Zeke the Plumber or whatever his name was, and you had all that stuff going on.
Yeah.
So definitely TL Hopper the Plumber. How could I forget that? But yeah, no, what an interesting question. And so Maddie sent me that match earlier this week.
By the
too.
way,
Mhm.
sometimes when I tell a story later on, I remember like a little tag on line that I should have said.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I'm going to get lost here, getting sidetracked. But like, for instance, we were talking about working with Chris Benoit a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about we had that match. I think it was in St. Louis, the pay-per-view, and he wanted me to kick him as hard as I could. And doing house shows leading up to that every night, he would say harder, harder, you know, and I would kick him harder. Like, I wanted him to regret me kicking him that hard, but he loved it because he was like so tough. I told that story on here recently, but then afterwards, when I saw it again in my head, I should have went a little further, just because I forgot to mention this is what he actually said to me when he's like, man, just kick me as fucking hard as you can, Rob, hard as you fucking can. And I was like, bro, isn't the idea to not actually injure you when I'm out there? And he goes, no. He goes, you know what? No, fuck that. You and I got an understanding because we both wrestled in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot to share that part with everybody, but that was yeah. And the add-on that I was going to add on here, talking about, where were we?
The ECW
the Jerry Lawler thing.
Yep.
Okay. I don't think I've ever talked about this, but it just popped up in my head. So when I actually quit with the angle, the whole thing, I walked out on WWE because it got so confusing that the more I was there, I was only, the way I saw it, I was only going to be hurting ECW, not growing it, which was the reason that I was there. And so I didn't know that Paul was selling me off to WWE and that I was working for them now. I didn't know that. And Paul had me the whole time on super defensive mode, saying, you know, as soon as something doesn't look right, boom, you say the word, we're out of here. And so when I went for advice, he was like, let's go. You want to go? I'm like, Paul, I'm asking you, like, they want me under Brian Armstrong. Why would I do that? So anyway, I met with Vince. It was the first time after I'd been there 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it was. Finally, we're having a talk here. And this is when I realized that I have a job there. And Vince says to me, well, I wouldn't have put you on my TV, obviously, if I didn't plan on you staying and working full time for us. And I was like, what? Like, it never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea. Hadn't thought of that. And anyway, what he did tell me, short little bit of info to finish up the question that was asked. He saw me as, well, I see you as a baby face, long term, an aggressive baby face. And I was going to be teaming with Lawler, and then theoretically the idea was for me and Lawler to turn on each other. And that was and the idea was for me to become a baby face out of that angle.
This being one of a kind with RVD, who doesn't want to feel damn good at anything they do? And that includes their performance in the bedroom, huh? Well, let's talk about some Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And starting now, Blue Chew is offering a combo so strong, it'll knock your socks off and your neighbor's socks off. You'll have to move towns with the amount of noise that you'll be making. Yeah. Blue Chew Max has arrived, and it combines with the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable tablet. This combo acts fast and lasts, Guys, be ready when she needs it, and your first month of Blue Chew is free. Great sex is a few clicks away. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the US of A, and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. So make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And you know it, we got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use promo code RVD. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code RVD. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Oh, how about that? So
How about that? Yeah.
that would have been interesting, actually. That'd been neat because, like,
I didn't know what I was doing teaming with them, so I was
because it was weird, right? It just felt like such a like you come in.
theoretically, but that hypothetically that's what I was doing.
That's
right
cool. Yeah, that would have been neat to see, actually. Yeah, you and it was neat watching that match though. Again, you against Jeff Hardy, like young Jeff Hardy, and then the fans were well aware of who you were too at that point because they were chanting like "You sold out, you sold out."
Yeah.
Which was neat. And something that I noticed too, Rob, I don't know if you recall this, but you hit the 5-star frog splash, but you finished.
It wasn't my finish, right?
Yeah, you did the
split-legged moonsault was the finish, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that got a big pop when you did the split-legged moonsault too. You got like the crowd like reacted big time, so that was pretty cool too.
Nice, yeah. I ended up switching that. Damn, so that's 97. It's weird because I thought I switched that like way before because Ron Slinker told me, you got the split leg moonsault. It's pretty, but it's soft, and you're wrestling guys that are way bigger than you. You need to come up with a finish with more impact. And it was Slinker, the same guy that named me Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
And then I came up with the frog splash, thinking that's the most impact I can think of is jumping up as high as I can and just coming down and throwing my weight and gravity on somebody. Bam. Although now a Van Daminator, I think, could cause actually even more impact because then I'm kicking with both legs on top of the momentum. But I wonder what year that was then that I switched that. That's weird.
It probably wasn't too long after that then, right?
I would have thought it was before that until we just laid this out. Yeah, because Slinker, the WCW was December of 92 till like May of 93. And I thought it was during that time actually, but I guess I don't know. Maybe I kept the split-legged moonsault as a finish and then maybe it was as late as 97 when he told me I need to change it.
Or did you just do it because it was different on WWE?
Right. Who knows?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Kyle Z added, I watched the match with RVD Lawler versus the Headbangers recently. Noted that Vince and JR are orgasming on the frog splash. So they must have liked the frog splash. They must have liked it. All right, let's hit another super chat.
And we did that a couple times, by the way. I think we had 2 matches. So I don't know if the other one. No, they were all TV. I wasn't doing house shows for WWE at the time. So there was 2 matches. One might have been one of their lesser TV shows. You know what I mean? It could have been Sunday Night Heat. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think we wrestled twice against the Headbangers. And that's when I was thinking, okay, they're starting to form me, shape me, mold me into something, but what?
Yeah, what is it exactly? And it's so weird too because you're in that position where you just said it, like you're like, what am I in ECW and what am I in WWE? It's and you're trying to and you're in the competitive mindset at that point in time too. So that's a lot of stuff coming into play during what is going to be a hot time in wrestling too. Kyle Z says number 420. He's smoking 91% sativa vape over here. So how about that? Shout out Kyle Z. Yum the Dawn. Thanks for the $2. He says just hopes you're feeling better. Happy 20 WrestleMania week. So thank you, Jim, for chatting in.
Right on. Appreciate you, dude. And YouTube Chris says in 98 I made the 5-star my finish and stopped using the split-legged moonsault is my finish. So in '98, I'm already in ECW for 2 years. So I guess when I went there, maybe split leg moonsault was my finish. Well, yeah, I beat Axel Rotten with it. I guess that was my finish going in there still. Wow.
Wow.
Little later in life than I thought. But
Yeah, me too. I would have. Yeah, I thought you probably adopted that in like '97ish. But thanks, YouTube. Great.
I think same thing. I think with the match with Axel Rotten, my debut match with ECW, I
Yeah.
think I think I hit the frog splash, but didn't pin him, and then ended up using the split leg moonsault as the finish, I believe. Maybe I covered him and he kicked out. I don't know.
Well, that's interesting too, because didn't John Morrison he did the Starship Pain, which was like initially a split legged, but then he twisted, and that was his finisher, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be. It's a badass move.
It is a badass move. Yeah. I love John Morrison, man. I wish they would show him more on AEW and stuff.
Good dude. Yeah, always happy to see him. And that's literally the way to take somebody's move and put your own spin on it.
Yeah, right? That's it. Make it your own thing. You don't have to, like, even you did.
I'm that girl last week that didn't know what literally means.
Yeah, right. What was her name? I can't remember. Kimberly.
There you go, Kimberly. That's what literally. He literally put his own spin on it because he spins while he does the move. So it's the literal sense of the action spin.
That's how it works. Yeah. Speaking of online stuff, I wanted to share this with you. Triple H made an interesting quote that really harkened back to what we were talking about.
Let me add this. In '96, when I went to ECW, and I was doing the frog splash, I used to do it different. I used to bridge back, and then come down and slam. And I broke my wrist doing that in a match with Stevie Richards. And I broke his face in the same match with a different move. And after that, I changed the way that I did the splash into a tuck. So I jump up and then I kind of like tuck in and then come out instead of bridging back. But the bridge in the arch, like when I do a crossbody, it was like I thought it was pretty, but bam. Somehow when I came down, it put too much pressure on my fucking my carpal tunnel gimmick. and so was I using that as a finish then? I guess not, because that was '96. And then we were talking about '97 WWE. YouTube Chris says '98, which was still ECW post WWE. Interesting. I wonder if there's a single match where, oh my God, he won with the frog splash. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Van Terminator is a finishing move.
Van Terminator 2, when you did that was fucking devastating.
Better be.
Heck yeah. All right, so this was now
in AEW. If I hit someone with a Van Terminator, I'm afraid they'd stand right up and then give me a Hurricane Rana to my backside.
Yeah, they'd kick out at 2. Somebody kick out at 2 on that one. Let's see here.
Kick out at 1.
Kick out at 1.
They would.
Yeah. So Triple H was on the Flagrant podcast with comedian Andrew Schultz. And he happened to say this, Rob. The internet is not real life. The bitching and complaining that on there is not real life. You can read the internet and it will sound like this thing is dead. I'll use Cody as the example. Cody has already jumped the shark. He's dead as a babyface. Really? I'm in an arena with 10,000 people every night going ape shit for him. He's selling the most merchandise. Sure, whatever you want to say on the internet. The beautiful thing for our business, unlike a movie or TV show or even a book, we have a focus group every night. As we begin to tell these stories, this is working, this is not working. Whether people are bitching online, the reaction of people live. Jey Uso is terrible. What are they doing? Yeeting. Merch, reaction to the crowd, everything he does, it's just the opinion of a few people. So I thought that was a pretty interesting and accurate quote by Triple H and kind of what we were talking about a lot these past couple weeks.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Not only does that ring true, but it's a fresh reminder because when I went, me and Katie went to that, I guess, I don't know, it was a SmackDown show or.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, that was the enlightenment that I had that night because I said afterwards, man, I just reading comments online or whatever, my whole perspective was just was changed. It was in the gutter. I was there at the show, and holy crap, everybody was there to have fun, and there was so much positive energy in the air, and like it changed my mind on the WWE. If you remember me saying that, I said it immediately when I got back from there. I was like, holy crap, like they're doing like actual wrestling, telling stories. The crowd like knows when they're supposed to react. They know when their spot is to pop. They're in the match, and everything was just like it was so enjoyable, refreshing, and such a positive experience after not watching nearly enough wrestling, not being there live in the arena to feel it, and instead just reading some of the trash that's online from the keyboard warriors or people that aren't probably buying tickets going to the shows anyway.
No, so many of those people are like just bitching because they're either upset with their maybe current life situation, or they
maybe their uncle touched them when they were younger. No offense.
Who knows? But like a lot of it, just trauma. Like there's somebody just they're taking their aggression out on people online. And it's such a small contingency too that you really can't use that as a litmus test. It can be helpful in certain numbers maybe, but overall, like the opinion is just, it's such a minority of an opinion and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool, Triple H.
Yeah, I agree from my firsthand experience, and I wasn't even expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but man, I left. I was charged, after being in the front row for that SmackDown, the one where they cut me off, where I go, Rob.
Yeah. Okay, there he was.
Yeah. But from that experience, I was just like, man, what a different environment and different energy, different vibe. And outside in the arena mostly, but in the back too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt. It's a good vibe going on there, and they're charging up here for Mania and stuff, so it should be fun.
Maybe not quite as good as that Kimberly, our fan that thinks that wrestling isn't a job.
No.
But in that direction.
You're just having fun there, Rob. That's it.
Yeah, I'm literally telling them how to put fries in the bag.
That's what you're literally doing. We'll take the super chats here, and then we'll close this one out because we got I got work tomorrow morning early, and I know Rob's got some stuff to handle too. All right. Maddie, has RVD met Michael Franzese, the Colombo crime family? He does that great YouTube show.
Yes, he does. What a wonderful question to ask. Why Michael Franzese? I wonder. First off, did Seth not even see me wear the VBDC?
Seth might not be here tonight.
He didn't make it in because we're on a Monday and we threw him off. Make sure you take a picture, get a screenshot. Something.
Here, hold on. I'll screenshot you right now. Wait, Rob. Here. Okay, ready? Boom. All right. I got it.
Wait, do it again because this shirt was fucked up.
Okay, hold on. Boom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we got it.
We got it. Yeah. I like it.
So yes, he's a friend of mine. A friend. I say because he is. He's someone that I like to keep in touch with, and someone I consider a friend. Because, but a friend. I don't know him super well, not like a friend that I grew up with or anything like that. So, but definitely someone that super, super cool dude. And I respect him. Definitely respect his business acumen. Like, holy crap. So for people listening, if you don't know who Michael Franzese is, he was a mobster associated with the Colombo crime family. His dad, Sonny Franzese, was the underboss at one time, like very powerful, very respected. Like anything ever that you hear or read about Sonny Franzese, his dad, is that everybody really respected him, and that he was a legit man's man kind of mobster. So Michael grew up under him, and what Michael is known for his greatest accomplishment, his greatest scheme, his greatest crime that he went to jail for. He was robbing gas companies, and he would do it by buying a gas station, and then they would sell the gas out of it, and then they're supposed to send money to pay the taxes on that gas, but they would just keep it instead, and they would stay there so long, and then they would just move on. And they had what's called a daisy chain, where they went all up and down the coast there. They had hundreds, I'm not sure what the number is, I don't know if it was thousands, maybe it was, of gas stations, and they would just buy them up and move on. And by the time the government found out, that they're not getting their taxes, because there's a long period between getting paid and then, hey, you're delinquent, and chasing it down, all that, by the time they found out, that they'd be long gone from the gas station, and they had moved on, and be, bankrupt, and boom, out of there. So he kept this going for a while, and he made so much money that, according to Michael, he was bringing in between $2 and $10 million a week.
Holy crap!
That's a lot of fucking bread.
What year was this, Rob? Around.
Trying to think of what I could compare it to, because I want to say either late 70s or early 80s, in that time period. I don't know what to relate it to. I don't know what years he went to jail. I mean, Carmine Persico was the boss, but he's always the boss, and was till he died recently. So I guess I don't know. I don't know what year, but Michael is 20 years older than me.
Yeah.
So you could go by that and say he was probably in his late 20s, early 30s. So
hypothetically, we'll do. I'm putting this into a calculator. So we'll say, let's go 1978, just for the hell of it. And
let's do it. And he was using some of the money to start making movies. He was financing making like these cheap 80s kind of movies. So it was coming around that corner into there. But anyway, and he had to kick up. I think he kicked up 50% to Carmine Persico, the boss of the family.
Oh.
But anyway, he did this for a long time and made a lot of money. And they finally brought him down, and he ended up doing time and got released and renounced his membership to the mob as much as you can. They wanted to whack him, and they didn't trust him, but he ends up, he did some testifying, but he says that he didn't say anything that wasn't already out there. He has his own perspective on how deep he ratted, but he's now a free man. And when I first moved to Las Vegas at the end of 2018, Michael was doing a show in here in town at the Plaza downtown Las Vegas, and it was a stage show with dancing and him telling mob stories. So me and Katie went to check it out with a couple of my friends, Dane and his date, and anyway, Mike would be on stage and he would say, I knew that I had to meet with the boss of the Genovese crime family. And I knew that, I had to be on my best behavior, and the boss at that time was a man named Tony Salerno. And he's like, we're talking, boom, boom, boom. And then the lights would go out and he would like kind of recede off stage, and then lights would come on and there's girls like dancing Las Vegas style and stuff. It was an interesting mix, and I got to hear him tell some stories in between. The lights would dim and come back on, and he's there and say, oh man, the 80s were crazy. I had this and this and this going on. And anyway, during that show, he said, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take a question from members of the audience. Anybody that wants to try this? Think you're a good mob enthusiast? He said, here's your chance. I'll tell you what, whoever has the best question for me at the end of the night, I'll sit down and have a beer with you.
What?
And before I even reacted, my friend was like, just put his hand up. Goes, Rob, think of a question. And I was like, and then he said, how about right over here? And I said, okay, Michael. You said that you went and had a sit down with the mob boss of the Genovese crime family, Tony Salerno, but it's been long alleged that Tony Salerno was only a front man and that the true boss the whole time was Vinny the Chin Gigante. And, so what's the deal with that? And he's like, this guy knows his stuff right here, I tell you. And so we ended up having a beer afterwards. And then I seen him once or twice more after that, got together with him down at the Plaza, or Oscar Goodman, who was our lawyer and a good friend of his steakhouse. Last time I met Michael was up there at the steakhouse, but sometimes I would meet him after his show, would get out, and he wasn't much of a drinker, but he would sit and have a beer with me. And so, yeah, I definitely met him. He's a friend of mine. He's somebody that I've had to message a few times for a friend of mine and be like, oh God, this is embarrassing. But my friend wants to know, you're doing a show in his town. He wants to know if I can get tickets for him, man. I'm sorry, you don't have to do this, bro. I'm a scumbag. But he did. He's cool. He's super cool.
That's
Great
awesome.
guy. And I hope I can get a chance to have a beer with him again. But the show didn't last much longer after I moved here. And then he and the show ended and he moved out of town. He's back in California. So I don't run into him anymore.
Man, that's awesome. He'd be an awesome guest to have on here. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
He'd be
And he's one of those guys that's doing killer numbers.
He's doing real cool. Yeah, he can give us some tips.
Well, first it was like Frank Collada, and I love that, the Collada show, Coffee with Collada.
Uh-huh.
And that was about the guy that was still alive here in Vegas from the movie Casino, but he died during COVID. After his podcast had been going for 2 or 3 years by then. And so there's a lot of good shows on there. And Adam Flowers, his host, kept it going. He does the mob tours out here, which I think sometime I'm going to do that, which I have done, but it's been years and years ago. I would like to do it again now that I understand Vegas a little better, because before it was just someone took me somewhere. I don't know where it was, Anyway, it was Frank Collada's Coffee with Collada. And then I think Michael Franzese was the second one, the way I remember it. Johnny A-Light was around there too. Like they were like some of the very first, the way I remember it, mob podcasts. And then anyway, pretty soon, boom, like there's so many, I can't keep up with all of them. There's just no way.
His show's really good though. I watched both parts of him with the Hells Angels guy, which I thought was a really good episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He interviewed the guy from the Hells Angels, and it was neat to hear the different dynamics between the mafia and the biker gangs, and what the similarities and the differences. I thought was really cool.
Right. Yeah, I don't know much about bikers, and for some reason I only saw the beginning of that episode. I need to go back and watch the rest of it.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really fascinating and stuff.
He comes across really like well-spoken and respectable, right?
Yes, he does. Yeah, I really I liked it a lot. It's really enjoyable. I subscribe to his channel. It doesn't pop up on my feed though, so I gotta look and see.
Oh yeah, that's weird. The Mob Museum does that on my phone. Like I can never.
Yeah.
I always got to look at the spam to see what they've been sending me for the last few months and what I missed out on.
Yeah,
what's going on. Yeah,
and I get frustrated by that. But
what else was I gonna say? Closing remarks about Michael. Oh, I was just gonna say on his show, he definitely likes to bring Jesus into the conversation, but not in a pushy way, more like in a recommended way.
Yeah. Doing the due diligence for Jesus. So there we go. All right, Maddie. We actually kind of answered this question last week, Maddie, unless you want a different. Maybe you're saying who's going to win. Dom and RVD, WrestleMania question. Yeet or no yeet? He says yeet. Do you think Jey Uso is going to beat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, Rob?
Yeet.
Yeet. I'm with you
I
too.
say yeet.
Yeet. Eating it up. All right.
I say yeet gonna knock Gunther off his feet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
To the beat.
To the beat. Gem the Dawn, $2. He says, Rob, I got some gas for you at the 420 after party.
Hey, I will see you there. That is at the Nerd Bar, and that's after Mania on Sunday. So I don't know what time it starts, if there is a time, or if it's just after. Do we know like what time Mania ends? How can you know exactly, right? But
I know, right? I think it's like
there's a poster. If it does, it's probably midnight, right, or some shit like that.
no, I bet it'll
no.
be earlier. It'll be earlier because like you think about it being Pacific time, so it'll probably be like I bet it'll be like 7 o'clock maybe or 8 o'clock. You know
that it starts.
That it ends for maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, that'd be awesome because I was thinking they were gonna have me up all night.
Yeah, wouldn't that be? I hope it is.
Well, I got to look into it soon because we only days away.
Just days away.
It's crazy, yeah. So here's what I got, and I looked at my website, robvandam.com, right before this. I forget that I even have that website for years at a time. Then I'm like, oh yeah, and I do got to put my appearances up, which I'll try to do. I'll try to get it tonight, but. For WrestleMania week, I'm at WrestleCon, not Thursday, but all the other days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
And then Saturday afternoon, Katie and I are at Planet 13, which is the biggest dispensary ever, cannabis dispensary. So if you're coming in from out of town and you're somebody hit me up actually on Only Wrestlers, and they were asking what's a good dispensary to hit while they're here. Maybe it was Jim Dunn. Might have been you, dude.
Might have been
but definitely, if you're from out of town and you've never seen anything like this, and you're used to little marijuana shops that are, you can walk around and be done in 5 minutes. This place is so big. It's got its own clothing store. It's got its own restaurant. Damn. It's got its own like smoking lounge. And its flower department. It's really, 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 really big, and it's definitely worth seeing. And anyway, on Saturday, I think from 2 to 3, Katie and I are going to be signing at Planet 13, and then also on Monday, I think from 12 to 1, or no, I think it's 10 to 1, maybe 10 to 2. I will be at WWE Fanatics. Not
is
sure
that
where
the World
that
WWE World where they do? I think it's the World at Fanatics. I think that's the
As soon as I said, I'm not sure where that's at. You're asking me where it is, but yeah, I don't know.
I think it's I think it's because they do the thing where like the wrestlers come up and they sign.
Resorts World. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's called WWE the World. I don't know where it's taking place.
The World. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to get access in there. We'll see if that happens for me.
Okay. So yeah, that's where you can find me, and some of that's on my website and some of it's not. But
yeah, so I'm looking at your appearances right now. It says the Mania after party is there Sunday at 4:20, and then
I had Saturday and Monday.
Yeah,
I had Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
I have your WrestleCon appearances on there, but not
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So cool. Check it out. Rob will be all over Las Vegas. All right. Just a couple more super chats. There are more comments. Anything else? And I think it actually just. Oh, here we go. RVDology teach us to be free, to be me, smoke weed. Thanks, Maddie. RVDology is a great part of this show for sure.
Maddie Mr. Wana is a good listener. Some people get very positive stuff out of the same material that other people let go right over their head.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And Maddie is a very funny person too. He sends me very funny memes on Facebook. Spring is here, and you want to look good. Moving into spring, getting ready for summer. getting ready for the sunlight out, the rays hitting you. You want to look good. You look good. You want to almost say you want to look perfect. You won't look any more perfect than using Perfect Jeans. And I tell you what, you won't feel any more better this summer and spring with Perfect Jeans. I tell you what, they have the best, no doubt about it. This is a legitimate shoot. I am taking the Perfect Jeans with me to WrestleMania week this coming week. They are my favorite pair of pants I own overall, and I will be rocking them. I'll be rocking the Perfect Jean in Las Vegas at WrestleMania week. So you should be on the lookout for that. But you should be on the lookout for our special code that we got for you guys in this special offer this week. The Perfect Jean is something that me and Rob, we got early on here. And I can't speak highly enough, like I said, of it. And I got the light blue kind, which was such a cool looking pair. And they fit me great. The form fitting is everything. And they stretch great too. So much good stuff. The Perfect Jean always has free shipping and exchanges and returns. And you can have a peace of mind knowing that your order is completely risk-free as well. So Perfect Jean doesn't stop at just jeans. They've also revolutionized t-shirts too, which is cool. The Perfect Tee has enough to stretch and hide that beer belly while accentuating your arms and chest for that flawless look. It's as soft as butter without shrinking in the wash. Like all your other tees, it's perfect. So it's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use code RVD15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code RVD15. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that One of a Kind with RVD sent you. F your khakis and get the Perfect Jean. All right, Dom, can you do a Bad Business Bobby impression, please? You feel me?
Can I do
All right, let me see.
Hey, by the way, what happened to that at the beginning of this? Like Bobby,
It was on there. Did you hear it?
I heard hope you do. That was all that came out.
Oh, maybe it lagged. I'm gonna have to go back and listen because there was a little lag in the countdown. I don't know.
Bobby's gonna be pissed because he pays us good money,
good money to have his voice on here.
Sponsor our show, and all he wants out of it is that little piece at the end of a little higher, so he can say, "You feel me? I hope you do."
I hope you do.
Yeah, I should have sent you this letter so that you could post it. I should have thought about that, but someone sent me. Where is my phone? Damn it! Somebody sent me this Facebook message that Bobby had posted, and oh, it's so sweet. He mentions me.
Oh, that's thoughtful.
Yeah.
I don't think we covered this though. Tommy Rich called him out too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if we talked about that.
No, we didn't. Not on the show, which was great. It was very funny. Yeah. He said the comment.
Yeah, so I've got screenshots of that as well. You can look on the YouTube page at The Real RVD if you want to see a pretty big collection of Facebook and instant messages of Bobby, Bad Business Bobby's fan support team, all sharing their wonderful experiences they've had with him. There's so many more. And even since I posted that, as far as ripping talent goes, you know, he had the big reboot show and tried not to pay Vampiro what he owed him. Now it turns out that he tried to fuck Tommy Rich as well. And, you know, Tommy or Bobby, he's got to have a record for having the most amount of former clients that would never fucking work with him again. Like, it's amazing. I can't imagine having that many people that I don't get along with or that I fucked over, you know, that think I'm a piece of shit, whatever. I mean, you can't help what people think about you, and they're going to, whether they know you or an image of you that's not really you or whatever. So at least some of that you can roll with. But I mean, this is all from personal firsthand experience of Bobby doing selfish, shitty business with people in the industry and getting away with it for years and years.
It's crazy. I
Yeah.
can't, the aspect that he's burned that many bridges, like with colleagues of his, like from you to Tommy. It's like it's unbelievable how much that damage it should do to him, and hopefully it does. And it's coming home to roost now at this point, I would think, right? So.
Well, I don't know. All we can do is trust in karma. You know what I mean? I'll continue to share when I find shit that's shareable, and I'll keep helping Bobby bury his own reputation after working for decades in the industry. A lot of people are going to remember him for being the scumbag thief he is, and I think he's okay with that because he keeps doing it. But what I can't find here, though, is that he's trying to deflect. He says something directly about me and says that I said that people who have cancer got it because God gave it to them because they deserved it. And then he says, "Shame on you, Rob."
No,
Like,
that's not that's not even what you said, and you were joking about it.
of course. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I know some people can be really stupid, and I know a lot of times they believe that I said shit that I didn't say without even caring if they heard me or not, and they just jump to their conclusions. I don't think people are going to believe Bobby and really believe that I said that.
Yeah.
But Bad Business Bobby, if you're listening, of course I didn't say that, silly. Like, you're just continuing to try to scam people even more. You're lying to them. And where's the post? Show the post where I said that. So, you've already shamed on me. That's a good deflection. I'm ripping everybody in the industry off at a record of 95-1, my favor. I'm going to continue, even though the word's out and everybody knows. I'm going to continue to scam, continue to preach like I'm a man of God, even though I'm quite the opposite. And in the end, I'm going to deflect by saying, "Shame on you, Rob." That's what I'll do. And then I'll get away with all of it.
Yeah.
You're so silly, Bobby.
That
so
shit ain't happening. Shit ain't happening, Bobby. Just ain't gonna happen. Well,
Shame on you, Bobby. You just don't get it. So anyway, I'm assuming maybe that was in reference to the T-shirt that we were trying to help sell for you.
Yeah. Trying
I'm
to
glad you understood that if you did, which it said, what did it say? Justifying all God's diseases. And that meant, not just cancer, but any diseases that I could think of. I couldn't think of one where I was like, no, Bobby doesn't deserve that. I couldn't think of one. But I don't normally associate with people that are so disassociated from honesty. They're not usually part of my life, just like people that are honest aren't part of Bobby's life. So he doesn't believe they really exist. So he doesn't put those expectations on even himself. I get it. That's why you're a scumbag.
just deceiving people and not paying people. Bad stuff, Bobby. That's it.
I recognize that one, though.
Yeah.
That was that fake imitation, not the real shit.
Yeah, that was the clip I have on there right now. I got to get the other one on there. I have it on the intro, on the show intro, but yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah, it was perfect last week.
Yeah.
That way, if we forget to talk about him, at least he can feel included,
Yeah, we got the plug in later on for.
We can remind him of times when he was at his best, like when he left that friendly voice message for someone that didn't bow down and suck his dick.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this was a fun one. Now, Rob, I don't know if you're aware, but this is episode 99. No, yeah, this will be episode 99.
Of course, I knew it was episode 99. You think I'm not counting?
You got counted down. So next episode that we'll do will be episode 100. So
Whoa, that sounds special.
RVD, one of a kind, 100.
Let me
100
see.
of a kind.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
So we'll have
Yeah,
to do something special for that.
Yeah. Maybe me and Jem the Don can handle it from the nerd bar after party.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll do our since it's gonna start at 7 or 8 according to you.
Yes, 7 or 8, probably around that. I would think.
I hope so, but
Yeah.
they'll probably not be. We could talk about it. You're gonna be in town for sure.
I'll be in town. Yeah, we could maybe do something.
I plan on coming to the after party, or
Oh hell yeah, I'll be
Yep.
there. Yeah, so no doubt
Sweet.
about that. Yeah, that'll be good.
That'd be special for the 100th.
Yeah, what a good way to do it, actually. Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Yeah. Even if we
And
do like something 20 minutes or something like that, you know?
maybe we'll talk about it. Think about it, because otherwise, I'm gonna be too busy to do a show till probably Monday again.
Probably Monday, which is fine. Yeah. I'll be in town through Tuesday. So we could try to work something out. Anyway, whatever.
Hey, I want to grab this question that was posted like an hour ago. I'm just seeing from Kyle Z.
Mhm.
Have you ever come across any secondary material on Nino Gadji or Joseph Guglielmo? Nino is my jam. Yeah, I think it must have been Kyle that was asking if I believed everything that Dominic Montiglio said, because that was Nino Gadji's boy, and he ran and collected money for Nino. And I said, yeah, I mean, everything, I think he was telling the truth, although he got a little crazy and he was on drugs a lot and probably imagined a lot of stuff, especially towards the end when he was going from California back and forth. But secondary material, I wonder what he means by that, because I would have to say no, but I don't know exactly what you mean. And Joseph Guglielmo was Dracula. He was one of the, I told you before about the DeMeo crew. They had what they called the murder machine, where someone would come in the apartment behind the lounge, and then somebody would like shoot him in the head when he walks through a doorway, and then someone else puts a bag over his head, and then they drop the body to the ground and they start stabbing the heart to stop the flow of the blood. And it was just like a machine, like they had, boom, 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 and then hang him over the bathtub for like 45 minutes for all the blood to drip out while they had lunch, And
Great.
yeah.
Was it pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a story. Yeah. And anyway, he's asking about Joseph Guglielmo, who lived in that apartment. That was his apartment. Yeah. Hey, come on in, guys. Oh, nice to meet you. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my God.
no, he's going there to die. But
Yeah.
what was
Geez.
secondary? Because no, I've only gotten, as far as all of that goes, I think he's means like any inside, met anybody that knows anything or whatever. But no, I mean, I haven't gotten anything that you can't get, from reading books or YouTube or whatever. But always a fascinating group of psychopaths to do research on, the DeMeo crew. Yeah, and Nino Gadji, he was like they were under him, but he was never associated with the maliciousness, the chopping people up into parts to throw in the dumpster and all that. He just took the money, because Roy DeMeo was underneath Nino, and then Nino would go straight to Paul Castellano, but he was like, and Dominic was under Nino and would collect money from the DeMeo crew that for Nino, and Nino was one of those really committed fucking old school mobsters, they'll probably never snitch and do life instead of, even for someone else, instead of telling, what really happened. And he was just like really committed to it. But he took the money, but he wasn't around and wasn't part of all that the violence. Not that he didn't murder people and shoot them himself. He did that for sure, but not like he wasn't part of the murder machine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still the murder. That what a crazy thing that's to think about.
Yeah.
That's even crazier than the Scarface scene in the chainsaw, I think, right?
Yeah. And then after they put him in chop him up into parts, they throw it in the dump that gets like several feet of dirt put over it every single day and buried, and boom, there goes that body. And no body, no crime. That's
Finito.
yeah.
I'll ask this quick question from Kylie too. He's been asking this for past couple of weeks, so I want to give him this chance here. He says, I want to see a Ricochet versus RVD full feud with multiple matches. They would give us 5-star match of the year, and I don't know what. Oh, feud of the year. What do you think of Ricochet, Rob? I wanted to get your thoughts on him.
He's very talented, incredible athlete, gymnast, acrobat, and very entertaining in the ring as well. So I when I watch him, it's I'm impressed with what he pulls off, the moves and stuff. Also, he represents more of a new school approach when people talk about the difference between old school and new school. A lot of the stuff that he does is that new school kind of style that's different from the old school fundamentals. So definitely not we don't have the same style. I can see where he could have been inspired by me, but him and like Will Ospreay, those guys, as far as the gymnastic execution of impressive daredevil moves, those guys have taken it to a whole new level. Oh, and El Vikingo, that guy too. El Vikingo. I've only seen him on Instagram, but him too. Like they're taking it to a whole nother level where, springboard double flip through the table, and some of that stuff, has been way outdid stuff that was impressive 20 years ago.
You're right. It's some of that stuff they do is really like wild to just see in general. But it's definitely different, and from an aspect what you said, it's what the modern day is used to seeing in comparison to like you and what you did. You guys had the foundation, like somebody like a Sabu, and you had it like the Sheik taught you the foundation of wrestling and that kind of aspect of it all too. And that's such an imperative part, and the little in-betweens too. And Ricochet does a good job. He's a great heel right now. He's doing some good stuff as an obnoxious heel on AEW's. He's one of the best parts of the show, to be honest, right now. So
cool.
But very cool perspective to get from you on that. So all right. Well, cool. That'll do it for this week. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, rvdtv.com, and at The Real RVD on YouTube as well. Be sure, if you haven't yet, sign up for Only Wrestlers. You can get ready for the next upcoming show here in May in Chicago. Boom, gonna happen. Yes. So there should be good stuff there. Be sure to like, subscribe. You can subscribe to Rob for free on there. You can subscribe to Katie Forbes there for free, and the Only Wrestlers account as well on there.
Some of the other wrestlers I notice are free as well. And then I don't know if they always will be, or if some of those are temporary, like placeholders while they're not contenting so much and to collect people, but they're not going to like fool them and say, all right, we got you. Now there's a charge. They'll be, because they would have to be like re-signed in as a paying or whatever. But anyway, yeah, some of them I noticed are free, and we always will be, though, regardless of if those are temporary or not. Me, Katie, and Only Wrestlers will always be for free, and thing is just growing and growing. And yeah, the Chicago card is starting to look really good.
Ooh, taking shape. All right. Yep.
Yeah.
Sign up at onlywrestlers.com right after you get done with this or this week, heading towards WrestleMania. So, and it's been fun. So we'll keep you posted on everything going on. I'll keep you updated with clips and all that stuff on rvdtv.com and more stuff to come here. So always
Awesome.
fun. And it's been a good show, Rob. Good to have
Everybody tell Seth that I wore. Everyone tell Seth that I wore his shirt.
Yeah.
Everybody, if you see him before we do, right?
Yes. Let him know. Let him know, Seth.
Can't wear it any longer.
Take it off. Dang it. Take it off. All right, guys. We'll see you next time here on One of a Kind with who? It's with RVD.
Thanks, Van Dam fam. Thanks, Dominator.
Yeah.
See you guys in a few days. Happy